So today I finally have a Switch 2 to work on. I bought this on eBay, obviously for parts of repair. The price wasn't too bad. I paid around $200 for it after shipping. Um, I have no idea what I'm doing with this, but I'm really excited and I hope we can get this thing working. So let's jump right into it. Let's try to be a little methodical with this. So I think the first thing we want to do is get underneath the microscope and take a look at the charging ports, because this one has two ports. It's got one on the bottom and one on the top that supposedly can charge the system. So let's take our Joy-Cons off. Let's get under the microscope and take a look at this. All right, looks pretty clean. Oh, I see a tiny bit of green on the inside. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but right here, see, right between these two pins right here, looks like a tiny bit of corrosion. Nothing too major, but we'll need to clean that out. All right, let's look at the bottom port. Pins look okay, as do those. I don't know exactly what the readings should be, but let's try our tail insertion device and see what we're getting. Okay, I don't think that's good. I really don't. That doesn't look good at all. All right, let's try the top port. Okay, almost the exact same readings. All right. Well, I guess at this point, the only thing left to do is to get this guy opened up. Now, I've seen a few tutorials on opening it up. I've seen, I think the coder, and I've seen Tronics Fix work on a few of these. So let's take our time, get it apart, and see what's going on, what it looks like on the inside. And hey, there it goes. All right. Now we are inside. Okay. This looks kind of clean. I can't tell. Now, okay, in the listing, it mentioned water damage. But what I'm seeing I don't see any liquid damage right off the bat, but of course we need to get this back shield off and we can get a closer look at what's going on. So I think we have a Wi-Fi antenna. We have several antennas on here. Let's start right here. Go to places any. I think this is for the SD card slot. We'll put that right there. That looks just like the on the original Switch. They kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of a wide one and really short, like what held the other one, the other SD card in the original Switch. Okay, I see another one, another screw here, and it looks like this is a connector here that should lift up, I think. Let's take this out first. None of this looks like it's been removed. So Now, from what I've seen with this heatsink, it's glued down in here. So we need to kind of pry between here. We don't want to bend the pipe here. Let's try putting if there's double-sided tape there, let's put a little bit of isopropyl in here before we try to pry it. So from what my research showed, this pipe is actually hollow. So you want to be really careful when taking it out because you don't want to bend it. Okay, looks good. Set it to the side. All right, we have a speaker, another speaker here. Okay, before we get any deeper, let's get under the microscope and take a look. Just a quick inspection. That inductor doesn't look totally healthy right here. Let's go ahead and disconnect this battery. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing some signs of corrosion. Oh, what's that? Yeah, look at this. That's concerning. Now this is for the on-off and volume. Yeah, we definitely have something going on right here, don't we? Okay. Let's keep moving. What is that? What's going on right here? Let's get a little closer. All right, I want you guys to pay real close attention to these two resistors that I have labeled. I need to go back and check them because if you look real close, it looks like the solder on the ends of them have completely corroded away. I don't know how I missed this when I was actually looking at it. Okay, again, I don't like how this looks. I don't like that in the way that inductor looks. See what this connector here looks like. Okay, I see some corrosion. Here. Okay, so most likely we're going to have some corrosion inside of that connector as well. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, we have corrosion here as well. Okay. Corrosion here. Okay. So with these ribbon cables disconnected, I think I want to try. Let me plug the battery back in. Oh, that's not good either. We'll need to get that cleaned up. Definitely some corrosion on the battery. Okay, with no battery plugged in, let's plug this guy in via USB-C and let's see. Okay, we have 15 volts at 0 amps. Okay, let's try the top. Okay, 15 volts at 0 amps. All right. Okay, so at least we're negotiating voltage. The voltage looks right. So let's get this thing stripped down a bit further. Because right now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is get it totally removed, get it cleaned up the best I can by hand, and then I think we're going to put it in the ultrasonic, see if we can get some of this corrosion tackled. Because we haven't looked at the other side of the board, obviously, but I'm hoping that it's only surface level. Maybe we haven't, maybe nothing's damaged to the point where it's unfixable. That's what I'm hoping. All right, let's set this housing aside for the time being. Let's take a look under the scope at the other side of the board. Okay. Yeah, we have there's definitely signs of water damage or liquid damage. Something got in here, didn't it? Just a thermal pad. It's under there. I think we need to remove that anyway. Maybe that's the crystal underneath the shield. Let's see if some of these shields they will pop off. Because if we're going to put this guy into the ultrasonic cleaner, I want all these removed. Well, that one flew, as Alex would say, into the 9th dimension. Found it. All right. Let's see if this one will come up. All right, so I think we've taken off everything that we need to remove. It looks like the game card slot is hard soldered to the board now. It's no longer module. Okay. Let me fire up the ultrasonic, or actually I'm going to give it a clean by hand first. And once we do a hand cleaning, give it a nice scrub like this, we're going to put it into the ultrasonic and let the ultrasonic do its thing. And while it's in the ultrasonic cleaning, we'll take a minute and we'll check out the battery and clean the battery terminals up real good. Check voltage, all that good stuff. And I don't know if this has we're going to need to look for fuses on this board as well. Try to figure out what's going on with the no amp draw, because we have that 15 volt. It could be something just as simple as the battery management system. So when we deal with the same thing on the older switches, it tends to be, if we have that 15 volt negotiation, a lot of the times that means that our PDIC is okay and that we just have an issue with the charging. It's usually a port or something like that, but it's always a good thing to see that 15 volt negotiation. So if there is an M92 type PDIC on this board, then from seeing the 15 volts, I think it might be okay. But we will need to check. I know on the older switchboards, if we lost a fuse, which is, I know, like almost never happens. The Nintendo Switch fuse is practically indestructible. But in that event that it did happen, a lot of times it would be, you wouldn't get anything. It wouldn't negotiate, it wouldn't do anything. So I don't know if the Switch 2 works in the same manner, or if there's an actual charging circuit fuse. So we're going to need to determine that. We'll do some poking around after this comes out of our ultrasonic cleaner. Let me get this into the ultrasonic, and then we'll take a little bit of a deeper look. So let's refocus our attention to the frame here. All right, so we saw some battery corrosion. Yeah, there, you can see it better now. Okay. Let's put our probes on it and see what kind of voltage we have in our battery. 0.12. Yeah, 0.12. That is completely dead. Okay. That might be too dead to charge. I don't know. All right. So at this point, I think what I want to do is I want to kind of go around and I want to clean these ribbon cables off, because we saw some corrosion on some of them. So I think it's pertinent, before we go plugging anything in after the board comes back out of the ultrasonic, is make sure that we have a clean and solid connection on those ribbon cables. Now, the one for the start button and the volume buttons and things like that, to me, it looked like we might have lost an actual trace on one of those. I could be wrong, but we need to get under the microscope and take a look at it a little bit closer. So let's do that now. The ultrasonic cleaner is warming up, so let's give this thing a nice clean, at least best we can. Check all these ribbon cables, make sure that none of our traces on those cables have been lost to the corrosion. And from there, we'll take a break. I'll pause, which will only be a second for you guys. And when the board comes back out of the ultrasonic cleaner, we'll plug it in. Maybe maybe we'll pop the battery in, plug it back in, and see if we get any amp draw after that. So let's do that. Okay, so I think the ultrasonic cleaner is ready. So for now, I'm gonna pause on this and let me, as soon as the board's ready to come out of the ultrasonic, we'll come back and we'll see what's going on with it. See if we can find some fuses or whatnot and do some testing. All right, we're back. And the board looks really good. That ultrasonic really does a number on these things. Now, what it looks like underneath the chips or anything like that, I don't know. So, but just as, I guess, a quick check. Now, I'm only going on what I know about the other switch systems. So let's try plugging it in without a battery. Okay, we see the 15 volts, no amp draw. That's a good sign. Let's try this side. Okay. Now, let's try the tail insertion tool again, and let's see what it's showing us. Okay, I'm seeing the same open lines. And let's try this side. Now this side I'm seeing only 2. This side here looks a lot different now. It's all green. I don't think I had it in all the way. Okay, now that's a huge difference. So what I'm thinking is this side is going to be the side that goes into the dock. So naturally, this side would negotiate much more than the upper part. I think the upper, our upper USB-C port is going to be strictly for charging. So let's test it again. Because I think we're only going to see power rails pop up. I don't think we're going to see any data lines. Okay, yeah. All right. Let's try it this way. And the exact same. Okay. All right. Now, I don't know what this thing, like, there's so much I don't know about the system. But what I want to do is I want to plug in our battery real quick. Let's plug in the charger. just to see if we get a different amp, if we get any amp draw at all. Get it where you guys can see it. Okay, I still don't see any amp draw. Not even a little. Okay, let's try from the upper. Again, no amp draw, but this battery is completely, totally dead. So let's set that aside again. All right, so let's get under the microscope and let's see if we can find some fuses, or let's check our power rails and all that good stuff. I don't think we have any shorts. I really don't believe we have any shorts on our power rail anywhere. And I say this simply because we're not getting any amp draw when we plug in just the board. What is this? This is a max IC. All right, so we have a max IC. Now where is our main power rail? We have a diode. Looks like okay, that the residue that we're seeing, I think, is a little bit of thermal paste that got into the ultrasonic that you see kind of coating stuff. I don't think that it's necessarily, I don't think it's any corrosion. Okay, what is that? What is this? That looks like a sound chip. IG 2200. Don't know what you are. What are these? Dialogue. Looks like some inductors. And some other chips here. All right, I see what looks like a filter. So this will be the bottom of the board. So I'm assuming that these filters here will be for, what is that under there? I'm not sure what that is under there. What is this guy? Okay, another max IC. Oh, what is that? Is that our fuse? Possibly. Could be. Well, let's try doing a few basic checks. We'll see if we can see what we can see. See if we find any we'll see if we can find any direct shorts to ground or anything like that. We'll just kind of work our way around these. Okay, so I'm thinking that might be a fuse. I think these are inductors. No, those are caps. Again, don't know if that's supposed to be that way. All right, so while I don't believe we got anything major going on the board. I think maybe that battery is so dead that it just will not allow anything to charge. All right, so I think what I want to do is I'm going to set this board aside, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to see if I can inject some voltage into the battery. So we're going to use we have a little battery charge system here. So I'm going to see if we can bring that battery voltage up. What I think I want to do is get it out of the casing, open it up, and see if we can take a look at the battery management board. Maybe I can desolder the BMS from it and inject voltage directly into the battery itself. Something's going on with the battery here. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with the actual board itself. So let's do that. Let's see if we can get this sucker out. So here's the BMS. Let's get a closer look. Now, what is going on here? Call me crazy, but I really feel like something is missing right here. Either missing or what is going on right here? Okay, so let's test from here to here. 2.5 volts. Now that's a far cry from what we were reading. Let's test here and here. 0.2. So I believe this battery management board is shot. So at this point, I'm thinking that I need to order a new battery. I don't know if I can. I don't know if there are batteries available, but I'm fairly certain that's what it's going to boil down to. Could be dead wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong about something, but hello, Titi. Hello. Hi. Come to help? Did you come to help? Huh? You come to help me with the Nintendo Switch, huh? You want to see if the new Nintendo Switch works, huh? Is that what you did? You want to come see if it works? Okay. Say hi to the camera, Titi. Yeah. Say hi to the camera. Say hello. Okay. So we got to put it back together. For right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can source a replacement battery for the Switch 2. we're going to come back to it. It'll be a lot quicker for you guys. I don't think I'm going to release this as is. I'm going to wait and see if I can order a battery. And when it comes in, we'll come back to it. So I'll see you then. So this is our new battery. And this is the old battery. Let's see what kind of voltage we have in the new battery. 3.9. All right. And that's what we want to see. We want to see an output from the connector here, not like we have on this one. Because, like I said, I'm fairly certain the BMS on this is completely shot. All right. The moment of truth. Will we see any life? Whew, a little nervous here. Let's check. See what happens. Okay, I see 0. Let's flip it. Again, 0. Okay. Let's try the upper. Okay, 0 amp draw. Now, the next question is, will it actually turn on? So maybe because this battery seems to be fully charged, we're not going to get any life out of it. I don't know. I don't know how the new system works. So let me put this back into the housing, and we're going to give it a little bit of a test just to see if we can actually get the unit to power on. Okay, let's see if we can get it to power on. Now that ribbon cable for the power button is missing a trace, so I don't know if this is going to work using just the power button. All right, so this is our fuel gauge. I see. Let's do a little checking right here. So I didn't get anywhere checking around on the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflow those BGA chips to see if maybe I can bring a little bit of life back into the system. Okay, reflow is complete, and this guy is fresh out of the ultrasonic cleaner. All right. This is kind of my final attempt at this until I know more. So let's plug him in. Okay. Same behavior, no amp draw. I'm considering that a good sign. Okay, still no amp draw. All right. Moment of truth, guys. I did melt the connector just a little bit, but that's okay. All right. So let's see what happens. Look at that. We have an amp draw. Shut up. It's a little bit of an amp draw, but this is a fully charged battery as well. Okay, now I don't know if this guy's supposed to restart like a normal switch would to show that it's booting. Alright, so it's saying steady around 1.67. Alright. I'm not going to get excited just yet. I mean, I'm happy, but I'm not excited yet. Let's get this guy back in the housing. Let's see what happens. Don't know if this is supposed to come on when you plug it in or not, like the other one. Okay, let's check and see if the battery is actually charging. Okay, 3.95. Let's see if it goes up. Yep, it is going up. 3.951. 52. So the battery is charging. But it's not turning on. But we know we have pretty much a fully charged battery. So let's see if we can figure out where that power button goes to on that connector, and we'll see if we can get it to power on bypassing the ribbon. We'll just short those 2 points together and see if we can actually bring it to life. Okay, so the first one here is the power button. And looks like it goes down between these two. So this didn't work at all like I had initially planned. So what I'm going to do is jump over some of the other stuff that I tried that's also unsuccessful. Looking back now, it really wasn't worth it. So let me jump to where I'm checking for shorts with the thermal camera. All right, let's plug it in. And let's see if we can see anything getting hot. So I do not see anything getting warm. That's just a reflection. So the only thing I really see getting warm is the same thing we seen earlier, which is this chip here, but it doesn't seem to be getting like hot. So I'm really just seeing some reflections. So the reflow did bring back whatever we were missing in order for it to sense the battery. All right, so we're kind of at that point where, with a little bit of research I've been able to do on this thing, um, I don't believe this. From what I've heard, the system doesn't power on when you plug it in like the other switches. I'm still not completely 100% certain that it's not that ribbon cable, that we're actually not sending a signal. There still could be some corrosion and other things. We've got it to a point where it actually charges. There could still be a number of things wrong with it. For now, I think I've taken it as far as I can without doing some further research. I have ordered a couple of replacement parts. I ordered a new ribbon cable for the power button. So when it comes in, I'll take it apart and we'll pop that in and I'll see if it makes a difference. If it does, I'll do an update on the video. But for now, I'm calling it a partial fix because we went from a fully dead board, no charge to the battery. We brought it partially back. I think once we know a little bit more about what's going on with these switch twos, then I think that we might be a little closer to actually getting this guy fixed. So I don't think I'm not going to write him off just yet. So I'm not going to call it a no fix just yet. It's not fully working, but I don't feel like we've done everything that we can do. Like I said, I've ordered a replacement cable. I'm not totally certain that this isn't fully working, that we're just missing a few things. And again, it might not be, but I don't have enough. I don't have enough information on these things just yet. I don't have enough time in my everyday life to reverse engineer these things, but I have given it as much of I've looked into it as much as I can. Let's put it that way. I usually get 1 day a week to do this. And while I'm disappointed that it didn't work, we did come a long way and we got it to a point where it's actually doing something now. We don't see any shorts or hotspots or anything like that on the board. I think we're just missing something. We got to figure out what clues we're missing. Once I get the replacement ribbon and stuff like that in, then we'll take another go at this thing. Thinking about ordering a working one to have and take it apart to actually have a working board to compare these things to, and just to see if I can try and swap the boards to see if that board will actually work in a known good housing with good ribbon cables and things like that. But until then, I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too, and I hope to see you guys again soon in my cave.